Hey, noble ones, it's ShoeOnHead again. What did she talk about? Let me have a look at the thumbnail. How did we get here? Oh, goodness gracious. We've got Nick Fuentes, Zohran Mamdani, Epstein files. Ooh, this is a spicy one. Let's go. Hit me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to inform you that the rumors are indeed true. The Democrats have struck back. In the New Jersey governor's race, the Democrat won. In the Virginia governor's race, the Democrat won. And in the New York City race, Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani defeated Andrew Cuomo to become the next mayor of America's largest city. But the question on everyone's mind is, was it just a fluke? Just easy wins in blue cities and states?
Well, I mean, who expected Cuomo to actually win in New York?
Or is there something more to this? Is this a sign of things to come? Is the Democratic Party finally turning their losing streak around? Are they actually listening to the people now?
No.
Did they finally learn their lesson?
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. My last 3 videos about electoral politics were warning the Democratic Party that young men were moving right because the party f***ing sucks and was becoming the young men eat sh- and die movement. Spanking the Democratic Party for losing because they elected one of the most unlikable shittiest candidates while offering absolutely nothing to voters. And defending the voters from the wrath of a bunch of liberal streamer man-children calling the voters stupid and evil for—
Yeah, honestly, I think a lot of the damage, I'm not even sure if the majority of the damage when it comes to the credibility of the Democratic Party has been done by the streamers. Like, I'm honest with you. Of course, Kamala Harris was put together very quickly after Biden wasn't even able to understand what it was. They didn't have enough time to build trust with the voting swing states mostly, so the centrists and people that are a little indecisive and whatnot. But the streamers, the likes of Destiny, Vosh with his lolly horses, Asab Biker, all these people, I think they did so much damage. If people in the left, particularly the prominent voices on the left, were like her, we would be having like a toe-to-toe Republican Democrats. It's possible that the left would have won. I'm gonna be honest with you. She's great. She is great. She is basically what a left-winger used to be like 30 years ago. If you agree, let me know in the comments, but that's how I feel. Like, she would be someone who you could relate to, not these absolute insane sociopaths that the left is now pushing everywhere, and they are annihilate. They're even attacking their own moderate left-leaning people. It's insane, and they blame it on the right, like people like Destiny, could constantly blame it on the right wing, but the reality is that they are the reason why people are going away from the Democratic Party.
daring not to vote for Hillary Clinton in brownface. But the thesis for all 3 of those videos was basically the same. As the right embraces working class populism, the Democratic Party and the left will continue to fade into irrelevancy. But as I also predicted in those last videos, there might be an eventual pendulum swing, and it might be happening much sooner than I predicted. Like, how did we go from Republicans winning the popular vote, in part thanks to a lot of the young people voting, to a bunch of data showing those same young people dropping their support for the GOP already? But the interesting thing is, those young people don't seem to be moving to the Democratic Party either. Where are they going? And do the Democrats have
a lot of independence these days, I think. You know what? I've been drinking a lot of water, and I'm out of water now. This bottle is empty. You know what else I'm out of? Patience with you, because you don't subscribe. You keep watching, never subscribe. Never. What do I need to do? I drank the water. I've got soda. I don't know at this point. I'm going to change the color like I've done millions of times. Boom. Okay? I'm going to go grab another bottle of water. Could you please subscribe in the meantime? In the meantime, could you subscribe? Thank you. Appreciate that. I really do. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Getting the water. Not only that, I brought you Space Marines. Are you out of your mind? And you're still not... Do whatever you want. Freedom, I guess. Excellent usage of your First Amendment. Appreciate that. Come on. Subscribe. Subscribe.
They called it, I'm not kidding, deciding to win. Deciding to win, as if the whole time they have just been simply deciding to lose. It was a choice, guys. They changed their mind and they want to win now. In this
my politics, my choice, I guess.
video, I will talk about why I think Zohran Mamdani won. We will go through the Democrat Party's plan to decide to win. We will briefly talk about the rise of the political commentator Nick Fuentes, the MAGA Civil War, and what I like to call the inevitable rise of shoe-socialism. If that sounds interesting, stick around. If it doesn't, You can leave. It's not like I'll miss you or anything. But baka. I know a lot of you are not very interested in politics. You come here for the fun Reddit slop, the men versus women content. Yeah, I know. But unfortunately,
Nah, people come here for you.
politics kind of seeps into your lives whether you want it to or not. So you might as well be entertained when you hear about it and have some fun with it when you can.
Absolutely.
And I just so happen to have the perfect
Ground news. Man, come on. I'm getting really good at spotting the sponsor these days. Am I right?
app for that. So before we get into this political deep dive, let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, one of my favorite sponsors to work with, Ground News.
Yeah, they're based.
Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers a transparent and easy way to read news from all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual
The center. I'm gonna watch it, just so you know. Just so you know, I'm watching it. I'm not skipping this.
breakdown of political bias that helps you understand the full story and makes sure you're getting both sides.
Okay.
One of my favorite features on Ground News is the blind spot feature, which shows you news stories that have been covered by one side of the spectrum and ignored by the other. For example, here is a story about how the White House apparently intervened in an Andrew Tate federal probe. 29 news sources covered this. 86% of them were left-wing. None were right-wing. Ground News also makes it really easy to compare headlines to see how political bias can affect framing.
Yeah, it's good,
For
it's
example, this feud between Elon Musk and Billie Eilish. This right-wing headline reads, Elon Musk claps back at Billie Eilish after she slams him for hoarding wealth. And this left-wing article frames the same story as, Elon Musk's comebacks are as flat as his attempts at jokes. Very different vibes going on here. I have been using Ground News since 2021 because it is just a great and fun way to keep up with the news. But don't just take my word for it. Even the Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all their amazing features. So go to ground.news/shoe or use the QR code here on screen, or use the link in the video description down below. It's only like $5 a month, which is basically the price of like a coffee. You can also gift a
Not if you go to Starbucks, it's not.
subscription to somebody. Just select the Vantage subscription, add a customized gift message, and Ground News will send it straight to their inbox where they can activate it. The perfect Christmas present for your out-of-touch uncle who gets all his news from Facebook. So thank you, Ground News, for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the
My
ad.
pleasure.
Right?
I can prove it. I can prove it, guy. Got proof here, right here. I'm gonna go further than that, since it's a recent video, which means the sponsor is still evaluating her performance in order to decide whether or not they want to sponsor her again, which of course is going to be yes, because she gets a monumental amount of views, and I'm glad for it. But I'm gonna put a link to her link in the description so that you can support her through the link that is her link, so she gets the benefit. I get nothing off of it, and I don't even care. All right, let's continue.
Now, let's get back to the video. For those of you familiar with the ShoeOnHead channel, you know I've harshly criticized the Democratic Party for all my career. Some say too harshly. Frankly, I don't care. And some
There's no such a thing.
say I'm not harsh enough on the Republicans. First of all, true, but let's be honest. That's not why you come here. You go to Kyle Kalinske for that.
Oh no, absolutely no, I don't. not Barbie doll wannabe.
Just like you go to Destiny to see opinions you can hear on CNN, or to Hassan for dog training tips. You come here to hear, golly gee willikers, I'm left-wing.
Roast them.
And the Democrats have gone crazy. That's the shit you're here for. But are the Democrats actually getting their shit together? Or did they simply get lucky in a few blue areas? One of those blue areas being my city, New York, where Democratic Socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani won the election and will become the new mayor. And a lot of people are like really confused about how this happened. And if you're one of those people, you really need to keep watching. If you don't understand why Mamdani won, I'm sorry to say, but you're kind of like the liberals in 2016 who didn't understand why Trump won. It's actually extremely understandable why Zohran Mamdani won, and it's not just because New York is full of commies or whatever. He is objectively the best Democratic candidate that they've had in a very, very long time. Like, I know the bar is in hell there, but he's young, he's energetic, he's charismatic, and people are really tired of
Charismatic is debatable, but he does speak well when it comes to, particularly when compared. That's the reason why when I see people like Hassan Piker and people like him, and the fact that Mamdani, whom I don't like one bit, by the way, but the fact that he distances himself, and in fact he even scolded Hassan Piker for the stuff he said online is because you could see that there is at least a difference between a real politician and a pretend politician. The pretend politician being, of course, the streamer and dog shocker. Because politicians have a strategy. Even if you hate them, they have a strategy. They consult with professionals before they open the damn mouth. Usually. Right or left, we've got some cases in which they did open the mouth without having any consultation, but whatever. And this applies to Harris, Biden, and Trump. But then you have people like Hassan Piker who pretends to be like, oh no, I understand politics. And then he says shit that, like, obviously the mayor is going to be like, you're out of your mind. Even if he thinks it. That's the thing. A politician will say stuff that he thinks and stuff he doesn't think, depending on the strategy. Hassan Piker just says stuff.
Of the White House doubling as a retirement home. And of course, I like many of his economic policies. I like the universal childcare thing, the transportation, flipping off the Christopher Columbus statue. That's the shit I don't like. Bitch, that's our fucking guy. He was a brave Italian explorer who discovered America, and in this house, Christopher Columbus is a hero.
Yes! End of story. Based woman.
Of story. I've said this many times, but I don't think the good left-wing policies can even exist alongside the bad left-wing policies. Like, I don't know how you can have free transportation, but also be soft on crime. Like, I don't know, like, in what world does that work out? You can't.
To be fair, there is no such a thing as free transportation. Someone is paying for it. And in fact, generally speaking, it's not that I'm against personally to the idea of, oh, it's nice, people can get, don't have much money, can get onto public transport and go to point A to point B to the city, and it's free, it's given by the state. You know, it sounds nice in theory, but do remember, nothing is free. Someone is paying for that shit. And the reality is that what's going to happen is that once you implement a policy like that, taxpayers and actual workers are the ones who are paying for those who don't work. That's what's happening. And unfortunately, what this translates into in the real world is not just, oh yeah, but I'm helping nice people. So now you have like a bus, 20 seats, people sitting down, maybe they're struggling a little bit to get to the end of the month, but now they can use it. No, that shit is gonna be packed with like 300 people, even though you have 20 seats. Half of them are gonna be criminal, the other half it's basically gonna make public transport impossible to use. That's what's gonna happen when you make it free. Unless you have, as she says, a very strong against crime, highly regulated and excellently organized law enforcement in that city. But since he wants to kind of go low, I don't know how much he wants to defund the police, but just keep in mind, nothing is free in a state. Nothing is free in a government. Someone has got to pay for it.
Have nice, clean, free transportation if a bunch of drug addicts and violent felons are going around stabbing people and setting them on fire. You can't have nice things if you don't have rules to enforce those nice things.
That's exactly the force doctrine principle. Absolutely.
So you know what I mean? It's always such a breath of fucking fresh air when I go back to visit my family in the suburbs of Long Island and I go to the CVS and the fucking toothpaste is free from their plexiglass prisons. I shouldn't have to wait 10 minutes for some poor wagey to come unlock the cagey so I can buy fucking shampoo. We don't have to live that way.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll do great, or maybe he gets into power and immediately cucks to the establishment like some other people. I don't like to talk about it. I just don't know how the hell anyone thought Andrew Cuomo was going to win. He killed a bunch of grandmas during COVID.
As you admitted this week, you personally altered the state health department report to undercount the death total, to hide the death total, and then evaded and lied to these families for 5 years. So
you killed a shit ton of people. For what? Plus, he doesn't even live in New York City. He doesn't live in the city he's running to be mayor of.
That's a problem,
Cuomo just kind of expected to win based on name recognition alone and being like, hey, at least I'm not the other guy. Yeah. Sound familiar? Trump actually offered a vision. Make America great again. Mamdani offered a vision. A New York City you can afford. So people took a chance on him. People wanted something different.
Yeah.
Andrew Cuomo, he had no vision or anything. Oh man, I love tuning into a debate about New York City, and 80% of it is about another f***ing country.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first?
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
I would go to Israel.
I'd make my 4th trip to Israel.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plan.
They said foreign visit, though. So how is that well, to him, it is a foreign visit. Oh, man, I'm going to upset quite a few people with that joke, but I don't even get it. It's a good joke. What do they mean, Israel? Go to Italy. visit Roma.
Are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel?
That was the exact moment I knew Zohran was going to win. Bro was just surrounded by NPCs. I love how they're like, where would you go? And Zohran was like, I'm gonna stay here. And instead of being like, no, Zohran, the question was, where would you go? They're like, why wouldn't you go to Israel?
Yeah, honestly, that is insane. That was a weird. What was she trying to do with that question? Was she trying for him to say something that she could use against him? Maybe that would be the only thing I would try to imagine. But that is crazy.
Like, that's the answer to the question. Like, that's just the default answer to that question. His win was very much in part a direct response to the affordability crisis that many Americans are facing. So what is the GOP's answer to the affordability crisis? Oh, great news, guys. There is no affordability crisis. It doesn't exist. It's all in your head, silly. Need to save money? Simply don't buy your grandmother a Christmas present this year.
Budget. You need a plan. Also remember, adults don't need gifts, okay? Focus on the people in your life who are age 3 to 18. Grandma doesn't need slippers. If they don't live by you, don't get them a gift. Now's not the time to spend and break the bank.
Zohran's win was also basically a direct
Break the bank for a pair of slippers. No, listen, if you're a hardworking American who works a 9 to 5 on top of which then you have to do a second job in order just to make ends meet, maybe telling hard workers like that to be like, yeah, but you can't afford the slippers, so don't buy $20 slipper for grandma. It's not the best strategy, whoever she was. I imagine she's some right-winger, I guess, at this point. It's not like I don't criticize my own. So that was kind of a crazy thing to say. Come on.
Response to the housing crisis in America. So what is the GOP's response to the pie-in-the-sky, commie gobbledygook that Zohran Mamdani is selling? Surely they have a better solution.
Here we go. The White House is floating this idea. Bill Pulte is saying, thanks to President Trump, we can indeed work on the 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer. How does that work in dollars? Here you go. 30-year fixed mortgage right now. You're paying $2,038 a month, principal and interest on a $400,000 home. At the bottom, under 50 years, you'd save a couple $100 a month at $1,822 principal and interest. That is proposed. Do you like this idea?
I do not like this idea.
Not lowering prices, not building more housing. No, just being a good little slave to the bank for 50 years.
I don't know how to think about this, to be honest, because, yeah, I mean, it sounds bad in principle, but then again, if it makes more homes affordable, because, of course, if you have to divide by 50 and not by 30, I imagine that would mean that you would have a lower amount to pay for your mortgage at a monthly basis. So if it makes it more affordable, yeah, I know 50 years sounds like slavery, but hopefully within those years you find a way to revolutionize your life, and then maybe you can refinance if you have more money. But perhaps at least you could tackle a mortgage. I don't know. You'll tell me. I'm not a financial expert. I'm just, someone who pays mortgage, I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe.
You might as well be a rentoid forever in this case. Like, at least you don't have to fix your own dishwasher. You will own nothing and be happy. Doesn't that sound great, Gen Z? Vote for us. We'll release the Epstein files and finally drain the swamp. Awesome. Finally, justice. Here it comes, the Epstein files phase 1. We got all your favorite E-celebs.
Is she Pam Bondi? She's Pam Bondi, isn't she?
Here. Don't you think that's a little tacky? I mean, like, this is an international child trap. The Epstein files are on my desk. Oh, that's great. That's what we've been waiting for.
And she froze?
Well? Oh, they don't exist. Wait, what? Yeah, the Epstein files don't exist. They're a Democrat hoax. But you just said, hey, what the fuck? That's my wallet. Sorry, Israel needs new weapons. Bye. Psst. What do you want, Democrat? Vote for us. Why? What do you have to offer? Hey, that's my wallet again. What are you people doing? Sorry. Israel needs new weapons.
My God.
Bye. The Epstein files.
That's true. That's the one thing. You remember that? It's not like I dreamed it. It really gives you an idea that perhaps what we're seeing is the illusion of choice. Call me a conspiracy theorist all you want, but at the end of the day, with all the, they believe this and we believe that when it comes to the left and the right, but when it comes to Israel, Trump supported Israel. What did Biden do? Well, because it's the left, he probably went against it. No, he said we stand with Israel.
Are a really big deal. This is not a partisan issue. You should absolutely care about an international trial a blackmail operation
Yes.
consisting of the most powerful people in the world. And
Yes.
anyone telling you to move on is coping, gaslighting,
Or in it.
or in on it.
Yeah,
If
in on
whatever
it.
is in there is so damning that it is a national security risk, the people deserve to know. Like, I don't know about you, but if we are paying taxes to a bunch of satanic pedophiles, I would like to know. That is information I would like to know. Like, I already know we're doing that, but I would like some confirmation. Okay, so literally as I am filming this, Trump is saying he is releasing the Epstein files.
Good.
So I guess they weren't a hoax. I'm gonna be so honest. I have no idea what the is going on, you guys. I'm sure when this video gets posted, there's already going to be more things that have happened. Also, Mike Johnson apparently said they need to make changes to the files to make sure we, quote, don't do permanent damage to the political system.
I swear, Mike Johnson is one of those Republican senators that I just, every time he opens his mouth, I'm like, what, is he out of his mind? What does that even mean? Of course, you need to do permanent damage to the political system in this case. What are you on about? But then again, he's the same one who said that the Roman Empire fell because of the gays. Paraphrased, because it was one of the symptoms. He didn't actually say directly it was because, if you're talking about history of Rome, study the history of Rome. Because there are specific reasons as to why the empire fell. And the gays is not one of those reasons. Doesn't matter if we're like, oh yeah, but are you saying that you're going to put now an LGBTQ flag in it? No, never going to happen. You never see a rainbow flag on this channel, ever. Anyways. Yeah, Mike Johnson. The only things you need to redact are victims, the names of the victims, or whatever potential damaging information for when it comes to the victims. That's it. Everything else, do not touch.
If releasing the Epstein files would do damage to the political system, then so be it. Then it deserves to be damaged. It deserves to be destroyed. Just release the files.
Yeah.
After all, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear.
Exactly.
Isn't that right, government? But it wasn't just the Epstein files thing that has MAGA feeling a little demoralized lately.
Does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people
no,
here.
You don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn.
We've talked about this a few times on this channel, actually very recently in the male loser epidemic video. The no talented Americans thing is a myth pushed on us by corpos and billionaires, so they can hire foreign workers who will work for less money and won't unionize. Worker drones who will work under the coercion of deportation, essentially creating infinite scab labor.
I don't know what Trump said there. The idea that he says we need to import some foreign talent is okay. I mean, I hope maybe I'm part of that. I mean, I'm not an engineer or anything, but I entered the country legally. But then again, of course, he's speaking about HB1 visa, whatever, so it's a different matter. But I'm saying, like, I think he's right with that. Of course, the idea that there is no talent in America is wrong, but to be fair, he said not certain talents. So when he first said, no, we don't, I would have said, if he left it at that, I would have said I disagree with Trump. But he did say certain. So at the end of the day, before you say, I think in this case, oh, are you saying that there is no talent in America? No, maybe let's look at the statistics, the data. Do we have enough talent when it comes to the number of available professionals as compared to the demand? Because if the two things don't meet on certain elements of the workforce and whatnot, then there is nothing wrong in getting at least some, of course, not the millions of illegals, it's a separate discussion, but I'm saying like some foreign talent, there's nothing wrong with it. If they are actual professionals, we can vet them, we can look at the situation when it comes to, the legal channel of immigration. I don't think he meant that there is zero talents in America. He did say some. So we need to look at the data, not make it emotional. Or like, are you saying he didn't really say it?
Even though there are so many Americans in these fields looking for jobs. But those spoiled Americans will ask for a living wage so they can live in a 600-foot square apartment. How dare they? We can't
That's the socialist part of her.
Do that. So import 1 billion immigrants. After all, it's good for business.
It didn't say 1 billion. You mischaracterized this one. Come on. They didn't say 1 billion. immigrants. Of course, I would be against that, obviously. But it's kind of a caricature, isn't it, of the point.
Folks are not thrilled about this idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States.
If we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business.
Unfortunately, America does feel like nothing but 3 corporations in a trench coat. But America is not a business. America is not a corporation. It is a nation. The contrast of what Trump is saying here compared to how he used to talk is staggering. Republicans embracing populism, at least rhetorically, is what gave rise to Donald Trump and fundamentally changed the way Republicans do politics in America. If you go back and watch the debates of Donald Trump in 2016, it's crazy.
We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East. They lied. They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right.
I remember being like, damn, that's not how politicians in general really talked at that time. Like, we would see it from Bernie Sanders and maybe like Ron Paul, but to get up on stage in a Republican debate in front of Republican donors saying that kind of shit was unheard of. Bro was getting booed. Trump won in 2016 by decrying the bloodlust and warmongering of the Republican Party, but also by speaking to the economic woes of the average working class American. Basically saying, I see you, to people who felt like they haven't been seen by either party in a very long time. Like, I saw...
Yeah, and that's the same in this last election. He catered a lot to the swing states. 1 second, I want to check the part about Nick Fuentes. I'm actually curious about that one. I'm gonna skip a little bit, just a little bit.
That what you want your party to be? Lowering taxes and killing people? We tried that already. To many Republicans, the solution to the affordability crisis, wreaking havoc on Americans, is simply trusting the free market, working hard, and if that doesn't work, they bust out all reliable.
If you're a young person and you can't afford to live here, then maybe you should not live here. I mean, that is a real thing. Yeah, I know that we've now grown up in a society that says that you deserve to live where you grew up, but the reality is that the history of America is almost literally the opposite of that.
That's a wrong thing to say to American citizens. That word, I'm going to say this, I'm going to be real. What he just said now applies to me. To me. If I can't afford to live here, I shouldn't live here. But an American citizen, this is your home. No one should tell you, if you can't afford to live here, you shouldn't live here. Where are Americans going to go, Ben? This is ridiculous.
Ah yes, the classic. Just move. Just move from Economic Zone 67 to Economic Zone 69. I don't know, man. Maybe some people actually like where they live. Maybe they want to make their community better. This is like the libertarian version of just deal with it when you talk to leftists about crime. Like, no, we shouldn't just deal with it. We shouldn't just move. Maybe we can make the cities in our country livable and safe. Maybe better things are possible, actually. My husband and I moved away from our families because of his job, and it f***ing sucks. It sucks raising kids without an extended family around. Say hi to grandma on FaceTime. Not normal, not natural. When I was growing up, it was like aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents were just coming in and out of my house, like bringing over food, like, hey, I got some mancati. I would be babysat by my cousins and my aunts. And because we moved away, my kid won't have that. I wouldn't be surprised if that's one reason many young people are putting off having children. The complete lack of community, the lack of a village. If you can't afford to live where your family lives, just move to fucking Gary, Indiana, where there's nobody around and no jobs and no family and no friends, but hey, at least you can afford a house there. That's not how life should work, Ben. Maybe take a step back and try to understand. Am I doing bird hands too much? You guys have made me so insecure about the fucking bird hands thing ever since this meme.
Yeah.
Okay, listen,
You should be, because this is the anti-Italian. You know, you have the Antichrist. This is the anti-Italian. This is the Italian. This is the anti-Italian.
Woman, okay? We are programmed to scold children. And when no children are around, we scold people on the internet, okay? Anyway, Nick Fuentes is a far-right commentator and a controversial figure to say the least. But his main topic he covers is Israel, which is an extremely hot topic that many other right-wing commentators seem to not want to touch. And the rare times they do touch it, it's them telling you not to talk about it, questioning why you care so much, or shape-shifting into the woke mob they fought against for so many.
Not just that, the one thing that annoys me the most is that whenever you criticize whatever that the state of Israel may decide to do when it comes to the policies, foreign policies, military interventions, anything really, which is, you're right, you can criticize the American government in America, so you can criticize any foreign government. You can agree with it, you can disagree with it. That's freedom. The problem is that the split second that you say anything, you will be accused of anti-Semitism, which is ridiculous. Now, if you start talking about the Jews as a whole, that's different. But if you criticize the state or a single politician and their choices, or a general, that doesn't make you an anti-Semite.
Years, calling you names, calling for you to be censored.
Yeah.
What's funny is they didn't care about any of Nick Fuentes' rants on like race or women. They only started caring when his rants on Israel were blowing up. Nick recently did an interview with Tucker Carlson, which completely ignited the MAGA civil war that was brewing on the right for some time now. It got so ridiculous that even Chuck Schumer went on the Senate floor and called for a disavowal of Nick Fuentes. Sir, with all due respect, none. Why do politicians need a resolution in the Senate to disagree with a citizen? Hello, I have gathered you all here today to disavow Hitler Bussy 420. People can't afford groceries, Charles. Ben Shapiro, in particular, has spent the last few months extremely confused and angry about Zohran Mamdani and Nick Fuentes becoming popular in the mainstream, all while his numbers continue to drop. I honestly don't think he understands what is happening here, so I am going to explain to you, Ben, what exactly is going on here. The American dream does not exist anymore for most people. Young people followed advice that worked for older generations, and it got them nowhere. Young people are tired of this stale, moldy, old, dead consensus that has dominated American politics for a very long time. The one that dragged us into all these foreign wars and sold us out for some cheap plastic shit from China. Young people are tired of being told to sit down and shut up and pledge allegiance to the free market in a country that seems to not give a shit about them, as well as a foreign country they have absolutely no connection to. For so long, establishment hacks and establishment shills looked at the issues bothering the people and just kind of dismissed them. Can't afford to live where you grew up? Just move. Don't like that the toothpaste is locked behind plexiglass? Just deal with it. Think it's kind of f***ed up how you work 40 hours a week and still can't afford to pay rent? What are you, some kind of communist? You don't like funding a genocide with your tax dollars? What are you, anti-Semitic? If you don't address the issues of the people will gravitate towards those who are addressing those issues. It's not Mamdani's fault he won. It's yours. It's not Nick Fuentes' fault he's popular. It's yours. The tragedy of Ben Shapiro is that he led a life worshipping the free market, only to lose in the free marketplace of ideas. Now, with all this neocon rhetoric coming out of the GOP, are the Democrats going to pick up the populist ball that they are fumbling? Are they actually going to get their shit together? Well, they are trying, because they have written an article called Deciding to Win, where after interviewing over 300,000 American voters from both parties, they may have finally discovered.
Wow, so yeah, I was expecting the Nick Fuentes section to be a little larger, but because there is a lot to say. I mean, I myself have dedicated 2 videos already to Nick. But anyways, I mean, it's a choice of content. We watched 20 minutes. There are 10 left. I usually don't watch the whole thing. Go check it out. I think I'm going to call it a day for the react. But as always, even though I disagreed on a few things here, Shue is awesome. Shue is great. Shue is fantastic. Shue gets a like. And in general, I think she raised some really, really good points. So I appreciate the video, and it was entertaining. I mean, she's really fun. She really is lovely. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and let me know what you think. If I said something you think is incorrect, I'm always happy to learn from you. Let me know in the comments. Bye.